The Pokémon franchise is as expansive as it is popular, and naturally it has evolved vastly over the course of its 25-year lifespan, with new monsters, new lands, new characters, new game mechanics, and more. For 2 decades, the Pokémon Company has introduced new changes and additions to the franchise through generations. A generation refers to how new monsters and game mechanics are all introduced at once with the launch of a new game, unlike how some franchises choose to introduce new features more slowly over time. This strategy has served the Pokémon franchise well, allowing fans new and old to form a sense of nostalgia in belonging to a particular generation, which is later utilised through the release of remakes, recapturing the magic of your favourite generation mixed with more modern game mechanics to introduce previous players to newer generations. Additionally, Pokémon as a franchise is much larger than just video games. It's a popular trading card game, anime TV series, not to mention theatrical anime movies, the Hollywood movie, the toys, the apps, and the never-ending variety of branded merchandise. Here is a breakdown of the generational cycle using a specific example: Pokémon X and Y, otherwise known as Generation 6. While previous generations launched in Japan approximately 6 months before international territories, Generation 6 began a new trend of Pokémon games launching worldwide simultaneously. Pokémon X and Y launched worldwide for the Nintendo 3DS on 12th of October 2013. Pokémon the series XY began airing in Japan on 17th of October 2013. Pokémon trading card game XY launched in Japan on 13th of December 2013, with Pokémon X and Y based toys launching around Q4 2013, amongst everything else previously mentioned. While many franchised products launch synergistically like this, Pokémon incorporates this release strategy into its own lore and world building. New Pokémon introduced are native to the new region they're being introduced in, with the region being famous in the Pokémon world for its unique phenomenon such as Mega Evolution, Z-moves, or Gigantamax. This makes each region feel unique. It makes each Pokémon feel like it truly belongs to the generation that introduced it, and it makes what ultimately began as a business decision feel like an important part of the Pokémon world. This type of synergistic release requires a great deal of planning and preparation years in advance, and when executed correctly, can boost visibility, interest, and sales in all of the involved products. However, if launch doesn't go according to plan, all products can begin to suffer. Pokémon X and Y launched to great success, even playing a large part in making the struggling Nintendo 3DS an unexpected success later in its life. However, many argue that this 6th generation of games marked a noticeable dip in quality and quantity of content for the Pokémon video games. But of course, the games could not be delayed to fix this issue, because that would mean delaying the anime that's already tied up in agreement with a TV station to begin airing on a certain date and is already being written and developed. It would mean delaying TCG products that may have already begun printing, replacing older sets. Delaying that would leave very little product on the shelf for however long they delayed it for. It would also mean delaying tons of X and Y generation based merchandise that undoubtedly would have already entered production, and potentially could have been soon shipping to stores. So, Pokémon X and Y launched as planned, with many issues unfixed. This strategy was of course utilised once more in 2016 with the launch of Pokémon Sun and Moon, Generation 7, on 18th of November 2016 for the Nintendo 3DS. The anime launched on the 17th of November 2016, and the TCG set on the 9th of December 2016. This launch was even more successful than X and Y, though this was helped by the massive success of Pokémon Go just months prior, though this was not part of the Sun and Moon launch plans, and the overnight sensational success was certainly not expected. However, this launch synergy foundation began to crumble when, toward the end of the 7th generation, it was decided to release a brand new Pokémon in 2018 via Pokémon Go. On paper, as a business decision, it made perfect sense. Pokémon Go was a worldwide phenomenon, still frequented by millions of players who don't often interact with the main series video games or even any other Pokémon media. Not to mention, a new main series game inspired by Pokémon Go was launching on the Nintendo Switch later that year, known as Pokémon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. However, with Pokémon Go largely considered to take place outside of main series canon, and Pokémon Let's Go being remakes of Generation 1, this new creature would struggle to find its place in the Pokémon world. On 22nd of September 2018, Pokémon celebrated that month's Community Day, where one particular Pokémon, in this case Chikorita, would spawn frequently throughout the day, and the rates at which the shiny version would appear were greatly increased. Towards the end of this event, the Pokémon Company teased the new Pokémon.
Here it is. What the heck is this? Look at this thing. What? Nutto? I like Nutto. It's a Nutto. This is a Nutto. It's a Ditto with a nut on his head.
As the Chikorita began to dissipate, a small, metal nut-looking Pokémon began appearing. When encountered, the Pokémon's name was simply a string of question marks, and catching it revealed that it was just a Ditto disguising itself as the mystery Pokémon. Speculation ran amok online, with discussions and debates over whether this Pokémon was a well-kept secret surprise teaser, a new Pokémon accidentally released early, or simply a glitch, perhaps accidentally spawning a non-Pokémon related 3D model, perhaps used for testing. On 25th of September 2018, just 3 days later, the debate was settled.
So, you've heard of it?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, it could be the mythical Pokémon Meltan!
Meltan?
Found it! This is the text. The description here matches the image you sent me.
Meltan was announced to the world as a new, previously undiscovered Pokémon. This reveal, however, sparked a new debate. Was Meltan one of the final 7th generation Pokémon, the current generation at the time, or the first 8th generation Pokémon to be revealed, a generation we were expecting and received only a year later? While Meltan was technically launching in the 7th generation, these games were first generation remakes, and besides Meltan and its evolution Melmetal, featured only the 151 original first generation Pokémon. Not to mention, Pokémon had previously set a precedent of revealing Pokémon years before their home generation games launched. However, those Pokémon were never really featured and playable in a main series game before their generational launch. This debate was largely caused by a difference in understanding of generations. Some believed that Meltan was a 7th generation Pokémon because it was first available and playable in a main series game during the 7th generation. Some believed that Meltan was an 8th generation Pokémon, because Pokémon previously all belonged to the region that their generation took place in, but in this case, Meltan was being introduced in Pokémon Go, set in the real world, and in Pokémon Let's Go, set in the first generation's Kanto region. As it was not introduced or playable ever in the Alola region, which is where the 7th generation was based, many believed it could not belong to either of these in official lore. The debate was not truly settled until the launch of Generation 8, Pokémon Sword and Shield, in November 2019. Meltan was not native to Generation 8's Galar region, and in the National Dex stood alongside the 7th generation of Pokémon, even though it didn't feature in the mainline 7th generation games Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and was not native to Alola, the 7th generation region. This is what I call the Meltan problem. Due to the way that previous generations were established, Meltan and Melmetal are the only two Pokemon in the history of the franchise to not feature a region of origin or belonging. In Pokemon Home, an app for storing large Pokemon collections, you can filter the Pokédex by region. For the most part, these are neatly in order, starting with Kanto Generation 1 and ending with Galar Generation 8. However, beneath this is a section for Pokemon with an unknown origin. This section features only Meltan and Melmetal, so these Pokemon have been largely overlooked by the Pokemon community and even the in-game Pokemon world. They were revealed in a surprising and creative fashion, but were not creatively supported beyond their initial surprise, and have been left in their own empty section of the Pokédex, with few fans feeling like Meltan was part of their generation. This Meltan problem affects far more than just these two fictional monsters in video game lore. Originally, this video was being written to propose how the Pokémon Company could solve the Meltan problem and rethink how Pokémon generations launch. But in the long time it took to make this video, changes started to take shape.
This is a tale from a long, long time ago, when the Sinnoh region was still only a vast wilderness.
On February 26, 2021, the Pokémon Company announced Pokémon Legends Arceus, an open-world Pokémon game set in an ancient Sinnoh region. At the same time, faithful remakes of the Pokémon Diamond and Pearl games were announced to be developed by Ilka Inc. These will be the first mainline Pokémon games developed by anyone other than Game Freak, and marks an important step in the franchise. These announcements have made the future of the franchise less certain. Perhaps Game Freak will continue to focus on Pokémon Legends as a series, leaving traditional RPGs to other developers, or perhaps this is a one-off. Even outside of the games, the latest anime series, Pokémon Journeys, has detached itself from the generational region hopping we experience in the games. Pokémon Journeys stars Ash and a new protagonist called Go, a rather on-the-nose tie-in to Pokémon Go. This series has Ash and Go travel across regions on research tasks, in a much more procedural style of series than we were used to pre-Alola. This allows the Pokémon anime to tie into the games when it wants to, rather than being rushed and subject to a tie-in. A great example of this is the Darkest Day story arc. This is the main plotline of the Pokémon Sword and Shield games, but Pokémon Journeys, which was being written and developed at the same time, didn't begin to explore the Darkest Day storyline until a year after the launch of the games. So it's still tied in, but it wasn't forced to introduce Galar and new Pokémon on a strict time limit based on the ongoing development of still at the time unfinished games. So now, how could Pokémon Legends Arceus allow the Pokémon Company to shift away from this generation-based evolution? My hope is that for future games, the Pokémon Company can begin introducing Pokémon and new series elements whenever they like. We've seen a tease of this with the Pokémon Sword and Shield expansion pass. New Pokémon were introduced in these DLC expansions, adding new Pokémon to an existing game via a software update. Even players without the DLC received an update that allowed these new Pokémon to exist in-game, if they were traded to the player. And they've given the TCG and the anime time to introduce these elements themselves rather than rushing a tie-in for release date. We still haven't seen these stories represented in the anime, and the TCG only got round to it just now with Battle Styles and in June with Chilling Reign. Having Pokemon be native to regions is kind of a staple of the franchise though, and should stay. Thus, future games could, post-launch, receive updates to introduce some new Pokemon from an upcoming region. Sort of like how various 4th generation Pokemon were teased and featured in 3rd generation spin-offs, but rather introducing them into main series games, getting people excited about the prospect of a new generation coming down the line where these Pokemon originate. To conclude, here's my proposal. The 3 main pillars of Pokemon, video games, anime, and trading card game, should separate. Video games sometimes being new generations a la Sword and Shield, sometimes being new game ideas such as Legends Arceus. Anime could stick to the Journey style of non-generation based content. That series is far from perfect and could benefit from larger serialized arcs, but it could have the freedom to create its own arcs, not based on the games. the trading card game could disassociate itself from the naming conventions of the video game series. Ever since the Pokémon Company took over from Wizards of the Coast back in 2003, the TCG sets have been named and branded based on the current generation of video games at the time. But if we return to unique names like the Wizards of the Coast sets such as Neo Destiny, Fossil and Aquapolis, we could start getting more original sets that can be themed however the TCG team sees fit. I truly believe this would benefit all three products, raise the quality bar, allow for delays when necessary, create new and original stories that help the three different products really stand out as their own pillars of the Pokémon franchise. And perhaps then, when they do choose to align the three from time to time, it could feel like something of a big event for all of Pokémon. But those are just my thoughts. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and for all things Pokémon, subscribe here on YouTube and follow me on Twitter at TrainerCallumYT. Links are in the description.